Hello everyone, first things first, thank you for tuning in to this last session of the morning of the Urban Planning Centre. My name is Christopher Martin, I'm Treasurer of the Urban Design Group, also a Trustee of Living Streets and co-founder and Director of Urban Strategy at Urban Movement, an urban design practice that was founded to investigate the moments where in cities where everyday life meets transport. So with this focus on cities and movement, it's no coincidence that we're speaking here in Glasgow on Wednesday the 10th of November 2021, which is the day of transport negotiations at COP26, the day when we thinkers, leaders, politicians and urbanists need to rethink transport to keep 1.5 alive. I'm just going to share a few thoughts with you before we get cracking. To make our job easier, we know that 50% of people live in cities, but also that cities account for more than 70% of all greenhouse gas emissions. So urban transport needs to be at the forefront of our collective thinking for how we move to a better relationship with the environment. Not least because currently 4.2 million people die every year as a result of exposure to outdoor air pollution. And in the UK this costs us £1.1 billion a year to treat asthma. £1.1 billion a year for fighting one of the consequences of urban air pollution. We need to move to a situation where we can spend that on preventing asthma rather than treating asthma, and urban transport again has a huge role to play. Crucially though, emissions from the transport sector are a major contributor to climate change, generating about 14% of annual emissions, including non-CO2 gases, and around 25% of CO2 emissions from burning fossil fuels. Since 1990, transport has been one of the fastest growing sources of greenhouse gas emissions, with emissions growing by 79%. And in terms of transport modes, 72% of global transport emissions come from road vehicles, which accounted for 80% of the rising emissions from 1970 to 2010. Clearly telling us a story where to focus our energy in cities, giving people alternative ways of travelling around cities in the private vehicle, and enabling behaviour change to more sociable, healthier and more enjoyable modes is essential for keeping this 1.5 alive and creating people-friendly places. As the writer Ashley Dawson highlights, we're living in the world of extreme cities. The extreme city describes the way in which our rapid urbanisation has collided with the climate, our environment, and that this And at this meeting, it's causing all kinds of extreme conditions that we feel and experience globally, and we can all picture these very, very vividly from recent history. Because we are at this juncture, we, and on this call especially, are therefore engaged in climate urbanism, and this describes the way in which we think and act in cities under climate change. And there are many ways to engage in climate urbanism. For years we've been talking about resilience. Resilience describes our ability to survive under conditions of risk and uncertainty, to fight, to build higher and higher, to defend. Many cities are trying to be more resilient, and we hear that a lot. Do we want, through resilience, to carry on potentially perpetuating existing urban conditions, to carry on surviving under risk and uncertainty? Another way to look at it is to move beyond protecting and from resisting into creating more equity, into climate repair for the environment and creating better quality of life. Climate justice is the link between climate changes and social, civil and human equity, and in this, cities are at the forefront of opportunity, repairing our relationship with the environment whilst improving people's lives. Transport has a huge part to play in this. It comes back to sprawl and the car. Detroit versus Copenhagen, both with just over 600,000 residents. Detroit is half the density, laid out on a future that was the automobile. Copenhagen was laid out on a present that was the human being walking. Detroit consumes 10 times the energy of Copenhagen. Succeeding in this fight against climate emergency is about creating cleaner, more enjoyable and more healthier lives. During the pandemic, we enjoyed strolling, we enjoyed drinking and dining on car-free streets. We embraced this positive change in the heart of our cities. We've seen what's behind the curtain now. We're excited about the potential of greening the city and making it more fun. Our collective urban attitudes have changed for the large part. This cleaner, greener, healthier and more equitable urban future is how we achieve climate justice, how we create balance between climate changes and social, civil and human equity. It's not about going back to the past, it's about moving forwards to a better quality of life for all in a post-carbon future, by giving people better choices and making what's best for the climate best for people. So let's put this to bed now and discuss how we can make urban transport fit for the age in which we find ourselves and fit for human success. This is my favourite protest banner that I've seen here in Glasgow, by the way. If you have a better one, send it to me and Brian. There'll be a prize for the winner. I think the message is clear and the right smile definitely there. I'm thrilled to be joined here live from Glasgow by Brian Deegan, Technical Director at Urban Movement, advisor to mayors around the UK on active travel, as well as today being one half of the Blues Brothers due to an optical ailment. Brian, how do we move to a post-carbon future in urban transport?